immediately to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Summertime when the fishing's easy. At least it will be if you go get your marine electronics from Front to Back Boat Service. That's right. It is time to take your boat to a new level. You want brand new troll motors. You want cameras. You can see the fish under the water in HD before you even cast. You want brand new speakers for that thing. You want Front to Back Boat Service. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com. Find them on Facebook, 225-928-9644. They do it all. That's why it's Front to Back Boat Service.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Join us for a Wednesday edition of Middle Relief. We're talking LSU baseball as the Tigers are looking to replace Paul Maneri and find their next head coach, breaking down the latest around the NFL and college football, and more. Tune in 12 to 3, 104.5 ESPN.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in to Middle Relief Wednesday edition. Mario Jerez alongside Matt Musso, and it's time to welcome on our next guest, Andrew Lopez, who covers the Pelicans for ESPN, along with Adrian Wojnarowski. He broke the news of the Pelicans firing Stan Van Gundy. Does the Lopez bomb have a good ring to it, man?
I'll keep it with Woj bombs for now. We can figure out whatever my thing is later.
Thanks for coming on. Andrew. As always, as previously mentioned, the Pelicans have parted ways with Stan Van Gundy. Not surprising to a lot of people. We've heard the report for weeks that the Pelicans players were quote unquote not vibing with SVG. He is officially out as the Pelicans head man. What's your initial reaction?
Yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster couple of weeks because you had heard maybe some whispers at the end of the season, and then they go through exit interviews and everything was fine, and then you got past this weekend. They had their staff retreat, and something changed. It is very much a mutual parting of the ways, though. I do feel like that this is not just a straight up firing. I think both parties realize that it was probably best for them to go their separate ways. It's still it's a tough look right now, considering this was supposed to be your guy. You were making this hire to usher in this new era with BI and Z, and then you got it wrong. And there was a lot of extra factors going into that. Stan Van Gundy was going through some stuff this year with COVID and the way things went for him. But ultimately, it was just you're in a position now where you have to get this right.
Andrew, Matt Musso here. In your reporting with Woj, the word inevitable was used, that this started to feel inevitable that a split would happen. I mean, like you said, in exit interviews, everything was going fine. I mean, was there a trigger point? What went so wrong to make it feel inevitable?
Yeah, it was. I don't know what the trigger point was just yet. Just know that somebody pulled the trigger. We're still kind of, we do talk to David Griffin today at 3:00. We'll see if anything changed. Part of what Griff likes to do, and this is what he did last year. He'll make his staff take off 2-3 weeks at the end of the season. It's been a long grind. You've been going through everything. Let's take a little bit of time off to clear our collective heads, basically. And what they do in that is you don't let like the last 5-6 games that were so bad kind of ruin your judgment. This is one thing they wanted to do last year after the bubble, was because they didn't, Lonzo did not he didn't have his best play in the bubble last year, right? Lonzo was not good in the bubble. That's a good way to put it. But they didn't want that to kind of cloud their judgment on how they wanted to view him going forward. And I think it might be the same scenario right here where they took a little bit of time off, and then, now we're a month removed from exit interviews, a month removed from their final regular season game. And that's when they go ahead and make this move. Usually you see that right away. When they did it with Alvin Gentry, it was as soon as they got back from the bubble. It was something immediate, something they knew they wanted to do. But that was also a time crunch last year. Now you're in a different kind of crunch. You do have the kind of draft stuff coming up next week. But for right now, what you're kind of looking at is, like I said, going back to the thing, it's just the most important thing to make sure you get this right.
Andrew Lopez of ESPN is our guest here on Middle Relief. Mario Jerez alongside Matt Musso. Andrew, we all know the context of this franchise and the first two superstars leaving. They blow it with Chris Paul. They get lucky. Anthony Davis falls into their lap. They blow it with him. During the Demps era, they get lucky once again. Zion Williamson falls into their lap. And obviously, if you're a Pelicans fan, that's where it all starts. We can't mess this up again. We need to keep Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson has not played in 100 NBA games yet. He's heading into his third season, and he's now on his third NBA head coach. Is that bad? And how much influence do you think Zion Williamson specifically had on this move?
It's not good. I promise you that. It's certainly not good. And to that same point, Brandon Ingram is going into his fourth coach in 4 years. So not a lot of stability for two guys who are 4-year 2 All-Stars. I don't know what I don't think Zion explicitly went in and said, "Hey, you have to do this. Get him out of here." I don't think that's the case at all. But when you sit back and look at it, relationships with the players, how things went this season, all of that kind of gets taken into account if you're going to make a move like this, especially if you're going to make a move like this a month after the regular season ends. You're already a little bit behind in the hiring process in terms of guys who have already made interviews other places. So it's a lot going on. But look, man, the NBA is a volatile league, and I think it was Bobby Marks this morning who made a point. It was kind of funny. He made the point, and then Scott Brooks also got fired right after. So I'm sorry, Scott Brooks did not get fired. Scott Brooks, his contract ran out, and they agreed not to bring him back. Here are the longest tenured head coaches in the NBA right now: Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra, Rick Carlisle, Steve Kerr, Quinn Snyder, Michael Malone. Every other head coach in the league has been hired within the last 3 years since the start of 2018.
Wow.
2018, 2019. It's a different world right now, man. So the pressure is on coaches to get it right. This was the fifth time, according to Elias, in the last 30 seasons that two coaches got fired after just 1 year with their respective teams. Obviously, again, I shouldn't be saying the word fired. Two coaches were let go. You go back to Nate Bjorkgren with the Pacers. He got let go from Indiana, and now the mutual parting of ways here with the Pelicans and Stan Van Gundy. So this is it's trending to be a players' league. Obviously, we're in the player empowerment era, especially in terms of the player movement, and that is putting pressure on teams to make sure they have the right head coach in every situation.
Andrew, I've already seen some people questioning David Griffin this morning after this move. I, for one, think David Griffin has done a really, really good job for the Pelicans so far, and this is really the one gaffe, if you want to really call it that. Do you think it's fair for people to already question David Griffin?
Yeah, I do. I mean, this is a hire you should have got right the first time. But I'll say this: the fact that they were able to come to an agreement after just 1 year and realize, hey, this isn't working, and not forcing it is a credit to Griffin and the staff. Obviously, this Stan had something to do with this. Everybody was on the same page. It's just you look at you can question him from his roster moves and not having the right roster around these guys, not having enough shooting, not having enough defense. Again, Griff owned up to that in his exit interviews. He said, we're going to fix this, and there was a time crunch and all this kind of stuff. So the one thing I can say is so far he has tried to, at least publicly, own up to some of the mistakes that he has made. And I think we'll see what he says here at 3:00 later today about this one.
As you said, Andrew, this is a hire. This is a decision that the Pelicans cannot miss on. I will say undoubtedly it's the biggest decision personnel-wise or coaching hiring-wise in franchise history. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some candidates that are already surfacing. You and Woj reported that Jacques Vaughn and Ime Udoka, the Brooklyn Nets, are both in the mix, as is Charles Lee, assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, as is Jason Kidd, who's an assistant for the Lakers at the moment, and Will Guillory, the Athletic, also reports that Teresa Witherspoon, current Pelicans assistant coach, is also in the mix to replace Stan Van Gundy. So as you see it, what does the current landscape look like as far as finding SVG's replacement?
Yeah, all of those names are very much in the mix. I would also throw Fred Vinson's name in there as somebody who may get a look. Kevin Arnovitz from ESPN said Fred's name was one that was being talked about around the league a few weeks ago. Obviously he's known for his shooting touch with Z and BI and, even going back to AB and Tyreek and obviously Bonzo. And Teaspoon there. You have two in-house candidates, but I think this is going to be a much smaller search than what it was last year. You went through 9, 10, 12 candidates last year in terms of the interview process, trying to figure out who you were going to get. You ultimately landed on Stan. So I think a lot of what you're going to lean on a lot of what you went last year. So I don't think this process takes as long. Again, we'll get a better idea of the time frame today, but I don't think this is going to be something that they drag out. I think they have their folks in mind, and I feel like they will move relatively quick with this.
One more for you, Andrew. The one thing I remember Stan Van Gundy getting credit for and getting praise for from both David Griffin in the media and from Pelicans fans is the invention of Point Zion. Apparently, of all the coaches that David Griffin interviewed, Stan Van was the only one, or one of few, I don't remember off the top of my head, that wanted to play Zion Williamson at point guard. So will the decision for the Pelicans to keep playing Zion on the ball be up to whatever coach is hired, or will that be an ultimatum for the next Pelicans head coach?
I don't think it's necessarily going to be an ultimatum, but I think what you saw, if you're a smart coach, you saw it worked, so you're going to do it, right? Like it's not something, you got to give credit to Stan, but even Stan said, Griff did mention, Griff was the only one that brought it up in the interview process that he would like to play Z at point because he saw a little bit of how he handled the ball. That's something the front office has believed before. And then even Stan said after we brought that up to him, Stan's like, I didn't think that we'd even be this good at it. Z even mentioned that at times this year. But what I think you will see is this next coach, not necessarily, like I said, an ultimatum where you have to do it. But why wouldn't you? It worked so well this year, so why wouldn't you continue to do it?
Andrew Lopez of ESPN giving us his insight. He broke the news that Stan Van Gundy is out as New Orleans Pelicans head coach. Big decision coming up for David Griffin and Trajan Langdon and company. Lopes, thanks as always for coming on. We will talk to you soon, my friend.
Sounds good, guys.
There he
Thanks,
goes. Andrew Lopez of ESPN. Whole lot to unpack there, huh, Musso?
Good bit. Hey, who's the guy who's the best shooting coach in the league?
Fred Vinson.
Yeah, hire that guy.
Yes, I
am. Sold.
You saw my reaction, man.
I did. It was great.
I will expand on it. We'll get Paul O'Neill to cut that so I could have personal use later. This is Middle Relief with Mario Jerez and Matt Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level, your cells? Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
Corval Toyota in Opelousas Happy Town, USA has it all. New Toyotas with great gas mileage, awesome prices, and a service department that can take care of all your vehicle needs. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Any make, any model. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle purchase. The process is easy, fast, and free. Find out what...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm out on vacation, but Jumbo Ronnie Rance will be in. LSU, the latest on the baseball coaching search. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in to Middle Relief. Quick segment here before we hit hour number 2 and some breaking news and some really bad news for the other team besides the New Orleans Pelicans to never make an NBA conference final. The Clippers, this is according to Shams Kanaraya of The Athletic, the Clippers fear that all NBA star Kawhi Leonard has suffered an ACL injury, and sources tell The Athletic that he is out indefinitely.
Oh.
Bad time for LA basketball.
That's not great.
Not at all.
I mean, whoa.
Yeah. Big opportunity for Paul George, though. Catches a lot of slack.
It is, but I mean, they can't really win without Kawhi. I mean, come on.
They're done. Game 5 tonight, I believe. That series is tied 2-2 between them and the Utah Jazz, but that is a huge blow, man.
Jazz and 6.
Kawhi Leonard had a great playoffs. He's somebody who came back from that injury and has added to his game, frankly, Musa, because he's known as a great defender and somebody who's really good as a slasher and attacking the basket. But if you've been watching these playoffs, Kawhi is crossing people up. He's shooting threes off the dribble, and he's picking up the slack for the Clippers because Paul George has not been playing really well if you dive into the numbers. So, yeah, Jazz and 6.
All right, Jazz and 6, man. Book it.
Hopefully Pelicans fans can be talking about playoffs in the near future and not draft lottery, because the draft lottery is coming up a week from yesterday on June 22nd. That'll be a very significant date for the Pelicans, and that was kind of the biggest news piece for New Orleans basketball coming up in the next couple of weeks. But now this news changes everything, and I'm sure we're going to hear different candidates kind of as we go in the week, Musso. But one really, really interesting name that Andrew Lopez brought up there was Fred Vinson, who's a current shooting coach. He was on Stan Van Gundy's staff before he got fired, just like he was on Alvin Gentry's staff before he got fired, and he was on Monty Williams' staff before he got fired.
Been here a while.
Mainstay. Somebody who's been in New Orleans for the last 10 years and is somebody who has watched this team intently in those 10 years. I'll tell you, this man is an incredible shooting coach. He's one of the best shooting coaches in the NBA. He's done incredible work with some guys on this team that were terrible shooters when they started under his tutelage. Tyreke Evans comes to mind. Anthony Davis comes to mind, who is now capable of scoring from outside the paint too. And the ultimate example is Lonzo Ball, who is a putrid three-point shooter when he got to New Orleans, one of the worst in the league. And now numbers-wise, he's one of the best in the entire NBA. The players, coaches all have really, really high affinity for Fred Vinson. Pelicans fans love Fred Vinson. So honestly, I don't see him getting the job. I think there are other candidates out there that are going to look like a better hire than that David Griffin and Trajan Langdon go to ultimately. But I'm really happy he's at least in the running, because given the work that he's put in for this franchise, he deserves it.
I agree. And, I mean, if memory serves me correct, he basically completely rebuilt Lonzo's shot totally. I mean, he changed it and changed it for the better. So, I mean, 100%. And he's obviously a guy the players like a lot. And, I mean, it's definitely a hire that sounds like it would win the press conference for sure. So, I mean, is there anything on court that might improve or suffer? I mean, he's never been a head coach in the league, but he's just, I mean, the familiarity with New Orleans makes him attractive right off the jump.
Yeah,
that and the shooting.
Yeah, working with 3 NBA coaches, including one who should have won Coach of the Year over Tom Thibodeau and Monty Williams. So he's definitely an interesting name, but I still think it's going to be probably one of these other candidates that we mentioned. And it's interesting because that's the second candidate we've heard that's currently on the Pelicans staff, because Teresa Witherspoon is another one. Obviously, she would be the first woman head coach in NBA history, which is a factor. But as far as her body of work, she's also really experienced, and she's had a lot of players come out and give support for her too. Specifically, Drew Holiday was really, really high on Teresa Witherspoon before he ultimately left the Pelicans to go play for the Milwaukee Bucks. So the players definitely respect her, but that would obviously be an unprecedented hire too.
It would be. I mean, how real of an option do you think that is, though?
I think it's pretty real based on, again, what David Griffin has said about her and what the players, some of them who are still on the team, have said about her. So it's definitely real. It's definitely not smoke. It's probably more real than Fred Vinson, who we were just talking about.
Okay.
But again, yet to be seen. This is going to be a very fluid situation. But at the end of the day, this is a hire that the New Orleans Pelicans cannot mess up. So that'll do it for hour number 1. We'll continue to break down the coaching searches for both LSU baseball and the New Orleans Pelicans, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned. This is Middle Relief with Mario Jerez and Matt Musso, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Middle Relief. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Lawyers. Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here, hour number 2, Middle Relief, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez. Josh Ward, audio producing. Paul O'Neill showing you our faces with the video production. And Mario, you know, it feels like the last few days, the only thing we've talked about here is coaching searches. Now we've added another one to mix with the New Orleans Pelicans after they fired Stan Van Gundy today. I say we take a little bit of a break. And as we've said here many times, football season never really ends. And the Tigers are now 79. Is it 79 days?
79, yes,
79 days away from opening the 2021 college football season. They will do so in Pasadena, California versus Chip Kelly's UCLA Bruins. They will do so in the historic and famed Rose Bowl, and they will do so in front of a full capacity crowd, which I know is news that LSU fans, not just in Louisiana, but all around the country, who are planning to travel to that game. That's something that they have been waiting and hoping to hear. And now that that news was finally announced, it just re-adds that invigoration to that trip that was announced a long time ago and that many have been looking forward to. And now it can be a reality.
Yeah, they should look forward to it. And we're getting a lot closer and closer. As you said, 79 days away. Shout out to Lloyd Cushenberry, number 79 at LSU. And the game will be at full capacity, and it'll still be a game that I think is dominated by LSU fans in the stands.
100%.
So, and you can tell as much looking for tickets, because even though this game is now at full capacity, last time I went on StubHub, these tickets for LSU and UCLA are still more expensive than UGA versus Clemson in that same opening weekend. So there's a lot of demand for these tickets. There should be. LSU fans are really, really excited to get the year started after a very disappointing season last year. And I want to talk about maybe not so much like the specifics of this game and like a deep dive breakdown. But based on what you do know, what kind of a result do you think LSU fans are expecting here? Because UCLA is a veteran team. They're bringing back a lot of teams, but they're still a Pac-12 school. They're a school that hasn't had that much success under Chip Kelly. And LSU is a school that has had a lot of turnover, has a lot of unproven guys. But the sense still seems to be that LSU should kind of drum these guys. Do you get that same sense?
No, I absolutely get that same sense. And here's the thing. I don't think that happens. I think LSU will win the game. June 16th, Wednesday, I think LSU will win the game. I think it's closer, and I think it's closer for a couple of different reasons. But yes, I do understand what you're saying. Number one, I think Chip Kelly, while he hasn't had a lot of success, I think his teams have improved since he's been there. So I think they're kind of on the come up a little bit. LSU, also the turnover. You just mentioned it. You have 6 new full-time staff members. If last year should have taught you anything, it's that the turnover matters. It matters. It mattered for LSU last year when many of us didn't think that it would. But that's going to hold them back a little bit. It'll be the first game with that new staff all together. I've said it many times. I think you're going to play 2 quarterbacks in that game, so that could stall your offense out with a little bit of the change there. I see this more as LSU 31, UCLA 28, somewhere around there. Maybe both teams in the 30 because Chip Kelly's teams can score, and you might have some growing pains for LSU's defense as well because of turnover. But no, it's a close game, but I think LSU definitely wins.
I've said it all year. I want to see the running game get better. I have no doubt that LSU is going to put up stats, whether it's Max Johnson or Miles Brennan at quarterback. But the running game needs to get better. And we dove into the numbers, Musso, over the last 4 years where they have just not performed in terms of running the ball. And the one outlier was when Joe Burrow was there. So that's definitely got to get better. And for me, that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on from jump when LSU takes on UCLA. Another thing that I think most fans will be keeping an eye on is the defense from jump. Durante Jones' new unit after you fire Bo Pelini. The defense was horrible last year, and UCLA is a school that hasn't had success in the win-loss column, but they're a school that's known to put up numbers, put up yards, put up points, playing in the Pac-12 and playing underneath Chip Kelly. So I think it's a good test for LSU's defense out of the gates to see if they can limit these guys, to see if they can stifle them enough for LSU to win this game and win this game by a somewhat comfortable margin. I mean, I'm with you that there's a lot of turnover, but given the context and given Chip Kelly's situation at UCLA, he seems to be on the hot seat, and he doesn't have a very good history, Musso, of getting his players motivated in these kind of situations. So I'm optimistic for those reasons, but obviously there's still 79 games between that day. We'll see what happens in camp. We'll see what happens injury-wise. But as of right now, on the surface, feel pretty good about this matchup. So should the LSU fans that are spending a lot of money to go to this game.
The Tigers will definitely have to be ready to run, that's for sure. Conditioning will be a major emphasis point for LSU, much like it was for the 2011 opener when the Tigers faced a Chip Kelly Oregon team, because if there's one thing Chip Kelly teams do, they go very, very, very fast. He's toned it down a little bit, but they still run a lot of plays, and that defense could be out there a good little bit. So, I mean, both defenses could, because LSU wants to go fast. So it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
They were ready that day, and LSU dominated Oregon that day, and I think they'll be conditioned again. I mean, we got Tommy Moffitt over there getting those boys ready. They're going to be fine. But as far as what people want to see from jump off the defense, I think it's just communication. They had so much trouble pre-snap, identifying things, identifying movement. It looked like nobody knew what to do. And there's a difference between somebody getting beat, a guy getting beat individually, a cornerback or something like that, and a guy makes a play and scores a touchdown. That's not the same as a receiver from Missouri that didn't even play wide receiver before, is running untouched for 40 yards, and you can't even see the nearest LSU defender on the screen. So little things like this are apparent. I think they'll be apparent from the first game, and that's what I'm looking for out of Durante Jones' defense in Los Angeles.
And aggression, right? How many times have you heard him say that? Every time he's in front of a mic, he talks about being as aggressive as possible, and I love that, because LSU's defense last year wasn't very aggressive. They weren't attacking specifically at the linebacker and safety position. So that's something that I'm looking forward to the most, is attacking at the second level for LSU and the aggression there specifically at linebacker.
And I love the roster. I mean, obviously Bo Pelini was not at a lack of talent, but a lot of these guys were kind of coming out last year as freshmen specifically. I mean, look at the sophomores alone on this LSU defense. At cornerback, when you talk about Eli Ricks alongside Derek Stingley. When you go down a defensive line and mention guys like Jacobian Guillory and Jaquelin Roy and Ojulari, a lot of these second-year guys I think were kind of done wrong by Bo Pelini, but they're great players. And not only will they be better in 2021, but they're going to result in LSU being one of the better defenses in the conference. But we'll see how that looks starting with UCLA.
79 days.
79 days.
Any other games that weekend catch your eye? I know you mentioned we mentioned Clemson and Georgia and how that ticket's cheaper than LSU and UCLA, which is quite surprising to me, honestly. I mean, UGA Clemson is absolutely the marquee matchup of opening week. You also have Alabama and Miami, Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State.
That one's going to be good.
That's going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I feel like they played each other. I feel like they played each other lots of times, huh?
I think this is a return trip, I believe.
Because I know La Tech pulled up the upset like earlier in the decade, like around 2011, 2012. We'll have to look that up to verify. But this is a series that Skip Holtz boys are used to.
It is. It is. That's for sure. I think they've met in bowl games before, too, as well. So that might be where the most recent matchup came from, as a matter of fact. But Georgia Clemson intrigues me for numerous different reasons, but really I just want to get a look at fully healthy Georgia team and a fully healthy quarterback position at Georgia, because you had Jamie Newman last year who was hurt in camp and then decides to opt out, and you end up with the mailman going in there as well. And I mean, it was everybody was wondering, while you're floundering at quarterback at Georgia, where is JT Daniels?
Yeah, lots of questions facing.
And now he's there, and now he's healthy, and I'm anxious to see how it goes.
Yeah, and he's projected to be one of the top QBs in this next NFL draft, so we'll see how that goes. And Georgia's the team that has, I think, higher expectations this year to return back towards the top of the SEC East. I think Florida blew a golden opportunity last year when they finally pulled through and beat Georgia. Obviously, they lose to LSU and things don't go their way, but that was kind of a big opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, for Florida to change the guard a little bit towards the top of the SEC East. But it's still Georgia, and I think Georgia's the popular #1 pick heading into this year.
I think they have to be, especially this year. I mean, Florida's going to have turnover at quarterback, and Emory Jones, I mean, is he really the guy there? And you have to wait and see. And again, JT Daniels, healthy. Is he really going to be the guy, though, for Georgia? I mean, is he going to be what they think he can be? Of course, we know they added Ari Gilbert, so there's that to go along with it. But Pickens is out. Pickens is hurt. He's out as well, so that's going to be a factor. And then from Clemson's side of things in that game, they'll also be having a new quarterback in DJ Uiagalelei. But, of course, he did play last year a little bit in the absence of Trevor Lawrence when he was out with the COVID. So it's going to be a monumental matchup, and one that personally I can't wait to sit down, crack open a cold beer, and watch.
Uiagalelei. You said it right.
I did. I practiced a lot last year when he was in there with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, you and the College Game Day guys both need to do that a lot. I know, as a play-by-play guy, that defensive back from Auburn, I'm still having nightmares saying his name.
Defensive back from Auburn. Which one was that?
Yeah, again, I'm not about to try to say his name.
No, which one was that? I really don't remember, but yeah, I just remember Smoke Monday was a defensive back for Auburn, safety.
That is an easier name to say.
It's a great name is what it is. That's the all-name team for sure.
Umolonis.
He played for Auburn?
He played for Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Before we break, Musso, I want to ask you what you think. We talked about the UCLA game, and as far as Las Vegas thinks, as of right now, the latest spread that I saw is LSU 3.5. So that's predicted to be a closer game, maybe than it is compared to the eyes of LSU fans. But I also want to talk about LSU's over/under, which right now, as far as I can see, is at 8.5 wins, and most people are taking the over on that. What do you think?
It's going to depend on a few games, but I think over's probably the safe bet. LSU can get to 9-3 this year. A game that really concerns me as the trap game the most is Ole Miss.
I'm so happy you didn't say Kentucky, because Hester's been pushing that as a swing game.
Well, look, bad things happen when LSU goes to Lexington. I don't know why. They just do. And, I mean, Hester can speak to that firsthand, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why he's pushing that. He understands. Even in the Bluegrass Miracle, that game was not pretty from LSU's standpoint. They had to win on the Hail Mary. So Bad things happen unless Kentucky comes to Baton Rouge. When Kentucky comes to Baton Rouge, they get boat raced every time. But anytime LSU has to go up to Lexington, man, it's always a sleepy game. So no, that one's there, but it's Ole Miss for me because, I mean, look, Ole Miss's defense last year was hot garbage. They were not very good, and that game was still highly competitive because LSU's defense was not very good. And Lane Kiffin, you heard this ever, Mario? He's pretty good at calling offensive plays.
I've heard.
So he can scheme, as they say. So that game, to me, although I expect LSU's defense to be way better, this time it's on the road, and that Vaught Hemingway Stadium will be rocking for that game when LSU comes to town. And it's a big trap game for me for LSU on their schedule this year.
I look at Ole Miss the same way as I look at the Carolina Panthers in the NFL. Respect, you put up numbers, but until you have a defense that's close to being competent, I'm not going to respect you.
And that's fair. But I will just say that much like in Lexington, LSU has gone to Oxford before and lost games that they should not lose. When Ole Miss was riddled with injuries in 2013, that game comes to mind. So it's now Ole Miss is thought of as a team on the come up. They weren't then. So you've lost games you shouldn't have lost there before. Now that they're spinning their wheels a little bit, get things moving, it becomes a little bit worrisome.
I'm convinced that Mettenberger was hungover that game. We'll have to confirm with Jeremy Hill. But that was an awful performance by him and by that entire LSU squad to lose to a team in Ole Miss in 2013 that should have had no business. We'll see if this current Ole Miss team has any business beating LSU. And for me, Musso, that certainly can be the swing game, but I'm really curious to see where Ole Miss is at this point in the season, in October 23rd. See how much juice Lane Kiffin's boys have, because we should note, Musso, that Ole Miss game on October 23rd is sandwiched in between the Florida game in Tiger Stadium and LSU's trip to Bryant-Denny Stadium this year. So that 3-game stretch could be really, really tough, but if Ole Miss is kind of down and already looking forward to next year, it becomes a lot easier and ultimately makes it easier for LSU to reach that 9-win total.
It's a trip-up spot for sure. So, you mentioned the where it's positioned in the schedule, and that's in between two massive games. But, I mean, if you look at Ole Miss's schedule before leading up to LSU, so they open with Louisville. They should win that game. Ole Miss should beat Louisville. Louisville's not good.
Yeah.
They'll beat Austin Peay. They'll beat Tulane. They will lose to Alabama, so they'll be 3-1. Arkansas is a tough one, but, I mean,
Arkansas won last year's meeting.
Arkansas did win last year's meeting. This time it's in Oxford, so Ole Miss, if they can win that, and I think they should beat Tennessee even on the road. Tennessee's not good. So you're looking at them having potentially 1, maybe 2 losses when LSU comes to town. So I don't know if they're going to be hanging their heads much by then. And if they're not, where it's sandwiched, it's gonna be a tough game for LSU. That 2013 game though, that wasn't good. I think Jay Hill had a pretty nice night that night though. He didn't have many. He didn't have many bad games in the year 2013.
No, it was still
for LSU. He almost rushed for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, it was still a very entertaining game in large part because Odell Beckham and Jeremy Hill helped lead back that comeback, but they were down 17-0 against a team led by Bo Wallace, and this was bad Bo Wallace, not good Bo Wallace.
I mean, was there ever good Bo Wallace? Chill out. We're gonna take a break here. Come back for our second segment.
There was.
Oh, he thought there was, but bad news, Bo. There wasn't. Come back here on Middle Relief for the rest of the first hour. It's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level, your cells? Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
Join the Guarantee Media family and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension for a day of swamp pop music and dancing on Saturday, June 26th at Lamar Dixon. Enjoy live music from Nana Shah, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, the Don Rich Band, and the Mojos. Cutting up a rug can work up an appetite, so be sure to grab a delicious bowl of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safe Jambalaya Cook-Off in partnership with the Jambalaya Festival Association to raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Baton Rouge. Visit 1007thetiger.com for details.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Summertime when the fishing's easy. At least it will be if you go get your marine electronics from Front to Back Boat Service. That's right. It is time to take your boat to a new level. You want brand new troll motors. You want cameras you can see the fish under the water in HD before you even cast. You want brand new speakers for that thing. You want Front to Back Boat Service. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com. Find them on Facebook, 225-928-9644. They do it all. That's why it's Front to Back Boat Service.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend.
Join us for a Wednesday's edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by Bed Rivers, live from City Slice Pints and Pizzas from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have the best bets for the U.S. Open, NBA, and NHL. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here, Middle Relief, hour number 2. Delvin Breaux going to join us in about 9.5 minutes, talk about his story, talk about his book that's out now, Unbroken, the Delvin Breaux story. Looking really forward to that conversation, to talk to a guy who's just a major inspiration to many, and really curious as to why he chose now to finally open up and tell his full story, not just what happened on the football field, but what happened off the football field. Sticking with football and kind of the New Orleans Saints, Jared Cook spoke yesterday, took a bit of a shot at his former team, and I don't appreciate it because I'm not really a Jared Cook guy. I think we kind of had that conversation a little bit earlier this week. For some reason, we were talking Saints.
There's not
and
many
we were talking
Jared
about
Cook guys
No, there's
around
not.
these parts.
So in a Periscope interview yesterday, Jared Cook, who's now a member of the Los Angeles Chargers, was speaking about the receiver group at LA and said, quote, "Just seeing the talent we have here at receiver, it's just as good, probably better than talent than we had in New Orleans." So understandably, yes, I can see where he's coming from. in the article, they note that Thomas is leaned on heavily. Averages 7.3 receptions and 85 yards. And Traquan Smith has only clocked 2 catches, 27.7 yards per game in his career. And then when you look at the Chargers, they have Keenan Allen. He's got over 6 receptions a game and 74 yards. And then Mike Williams, 2.7 catches, about 45 yards. Tyron Johnson,
I remember him.
Former LSU guy for 1 year there, 33 yards a game. Jalen Guyton, 27 yards a game. So, okay, I get it. But here's the deal. Los Angeles still leans very heavily on Keenan Allen, just like the Saints lean very heavily on Michael Thomas. And when you look at Traquan Smith, Mike Williams doesn't even average a full catch more than him per game. He just averages double the yards. So on maybe the half catch he gets more than him a game, he breaks free a little bit longer and runs a little bit further. To me, this was just Jared Cook taking a shot, and that aggravates me because I think Jared Cook was quite overrated in his time in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Very overrated in his time in New Orleans. Your 4 games at the end of your first season, bud, that doesn't account for an entire career.
We'll see, man. They got really high expectations for Adam Troutman to replace him. And as far as Jared Cook goes in his comments, as you know, Musso, I do play-by-play in the NFL, Spanish language for the New Orleans Saints. So I try to be, professional and not cross the line when I'm talking about these athletes that I cover and broadcast their games. But that being said, man, Jared Cook, what do y'all say on Moscona Show? Kick rocks. He can definitely kick rocks.
It's not.
He's a guy that you can make the argument that he's overrated. You can make the argument that he helped the Saints and catches too much flack. But regardless of where you stand on that argument, this is a guy that had a piss poor attitude the whole time he was with New Orleans. You could see the frustration on Drew Brees' face in communicating with him and all the miscommunications that he had, and not only him failing to do his job in those instances and not running the correct route, not communicating rightly with Drew, but his reaction to it. He didn't really seem to care or want to correct whatever was going on. He's a guy that just had a horrible attitude. He's a guy that when you needed him most, failed. Everybody talks about that fumble against Tampa Bay when you're up by 7. You're on the other side of the field late in the third quarter. You have all the momentum in the world, and that's a big mistake. And people don't bring up he had already fumbled against that very same Tampa Bay team the game before. So whether or not you think he's right, whether or not you want to make the Mike Williams versus Marquez Callaway / Traquan Smith debate, you can do that. But at the end of the day, this is just Jared Cook just being a man. I'm trying to find an insult that's correct for radio, but you know what I mean. He is not acting rationally.
No, I mean, and look, again, you can look at the numbers and say, okay, yeah, I mean, those guys are a bit more productive, but what are the Chargers doing with them then? And now look, they got Joe Lombardi, right? And you'll see what they do, but it's just, it's not like the Chargers are this world beater of a receiving core, because they're not. I mean, they're not. That's a world beater of a receiving core is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Or the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think I'm a little higher than Mike Williams than you are. Mike Williams, the stats don't look good, only 44 yards a game. But I referenced the play on OTB this morning that I'll repeat again. Do you remember when they played the Saints and Justin Herbert had that rollout pass on third down to put him in field goal range? And Mike Williams, on top of Marshawn Lattimore, goes and makes an incredible catch. And we all remember him at Clemson, too, where he was a superstar. He was
very good at Clemson.
And with a few years of development now with the new head coach, maybe he's a guy that can step up and be really good. But it's still a stretch either way. Like I said, no matter what side of the argument you fall on, this is still Jared Cook just being a jerk. And frankly, I will not miss him on the New Orleans Saints.
I won't miss him at all. That's for damn sure. I don't. I think this is Adam Troutman's time. I'm ready to see what the guy can do. And it'll be an interesting year for the Saints, man. Their schedule is filled with some landmines beginning week 1. Well, maybe beginning week 1. If Aaron Rodgers isn't there, I think Saints can handle the Packers and Jordan Love fairly easily. But other than that, there are definitely some landmines on that Saints schedule. Okay, we're going to grab a break so we can get to Delvin Breaux. He's coming up next. Talk to him about his book, Unbroken, and just his story, man, and what an inspirational story that it is. That's going to be coming up next here on Middle Relief, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales...
Coming up on Thursdays Off the Bench, Jack Marucci talks about his new role at LSU, where the Pels go now that Stan Van Gundy is out, and Chef Michael Johnson answers all your Munchies questions. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here on Middle Relief, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez. Really excited to talk to our next guest, former LSU Tiger, former New Orleans Saint, former Hamilton Tiger Cat of the Canadian Football League. Delvin Breaux is joining us. Got a new book out, Unbroken, spelled UNBREAUXKEN, the story of Delvin Breaux. been doing book signings. It's now available after being completed in December. Delvin, thank you for your time. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Doing well, man. Just really want to know, I know in the past you've talked about wanting to tell your story, but almost not doing it. What made now the right time to finally write the book and tell your story?
Well, you know what? First it was more so of just wanting to protect my family members. But then whenever COVID happened, it just gave me an opportunity to wanting to tell my story a little bit more, especially just being in a motivation factor, right? Maybe more so an inspiration factor because we need it. And I was like, man, it'll be the perfect time because things are going on behind closed doors by us being inside, right? And people are going, getting harmed and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, this would be a perfect time because now to give people an opportunity to speak up. Okay, Delvin Bro did it. He has a great platform. He spoke up. So let me get an opportunity to speak up so I won't have to go through some of the things he went through.
Hey, Delvin, this is Mario. We've interacted on Twitter before we had this show. When we got the show, I reached out to you and told you that I really wanted you to come on, and I'm really thankful that you're with us today. You've been so candid with your story, and I appreciate that so much, Delvin. Everybody that reads this book and has heard you do interviews recently knows about all the stuff that you've been through and all the stuff that you have accomplished since then. Can you just talk a little bit about your experiences and the tough time between the trauma in your childhood, the catastrophic injury you suffered in high school, and then having to go back to Canada after some struggles with the New Orleans Saints and some off-field stuff that went down there? Through all this, what keeps you going, man? Because you've just been through so much and have still accomplished so much after all that adversity.
I love adversity. I love it. I face it. Most people run away from it. Most people get shy or they what I want to say, they fear it, right? They don't want to face those challenges. They don't want to face those demons, but I embrace it. I embrace it, man. I love it, and that's what I want a lot of people to see from my journey and how I'm going along my destination. How I'm going along my journey to my destination. I want them to see, I'm facing everything. I have a lot of uphill battles and things that try to get in my way, but I'm going to beat it. I know I'm going to beat it because I have the man above that's going to help me and give me the strength to face anything that's trying to get in my way. And I just want to show people that, greatness don't happen overnight. It happens in the midst of adverse situations, and that's what I try to preach, to other people. I preach that to myself every day, to my son, when your back's against the wall, how are you going to respond? And that's something I always put on my shoulder, just by me breaking my neck and going through all my childhood trauma, trying to commit suicide at 9 years old, overcoming that, and adversity of me breaking my neck, not playing college football, and trying to, harm myself again in college. It's just, not dead, can't quit mentality that I had to have, something that, my back was against the wall. My depression was bad. And I wanted to show people that I can overcome it. If I can overcome it, they can overcome it as well. And, I just want people to see it. So that's why I wrote it. And that's why I'm here to tell it.
Delvin Bro is our guest here on Middle Relief, former Saints cornerback and author of Unbroken. Delvin, I want to ask you about your first stint in Canada back in 2013, 2014 with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That was after you suffered the injury in high school. You were unable to play at LSU, but Rod Walker has a really good write-up up at NOLA.com when he talks about your teammates in Canada with the Hamilton Tiger Cats talking to you and telling you that you don't belong here and you should be playing in the NFL. How much motivation was that, and how gratifying was it when you did achieve your dream of playing in the NFL with your hometown New Orleans Saints?
It was awesome. It was awesome, and I appreciate my teammates for saying that. And I know exactly who it was at the time telling me that those words, and I just appreciate them because they saw me more than what I saw in myself, right? Like, because everybody has a different point of view from the outside, right? Like, everybody can see, okay, man, this guy's going to be amazing. This guy's going to be good. I think he can play at the next level. So them seeing that and telling me that, man, it just made me feel amazing. It made me feel like this is where I belonged on my journey, to hear and receive that message. And that means I need to go further. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't it. That wasn't it. That was just a message to let me know that I can go further. I need to go further. So getting the opportunity to play with the New Orleans Saints at home, was just amazing. It was like a full circle. Born and raised here, played high school football here, didn't get an opportunity to play college. But as you can see, I'm right up the road at LSU. And then I'm right back playing, for my hometown in New Orleans. So I think it's just amazing. And I just want a lot of people to know my journey and know my story.
Delvin, when you went back to Canada and back with the Tiger Cats the second time, did you have thoughts of trying to get back to the NFL, or was Canada the place for you at that point?
No, I actually was trying to get back. Right after the Saints released me, I went and made All-Star in Canada that same year. So, and it was crazy. No NFL team wanted to take a chance. And I went back to the CFL and I made CFL All-Star. I didn't get it, but my goal was to get back in the NFL. And when no team reached back out to me after that All-Star season, I was just like, man, I guess it's time for me to sign a 3-year deal. Like, I just didn't understand. And, I just had to do what was best for me and my son. And I had to sign back to Canada for a 3-year deal.
Hey, Delvin, I know you may have had some disagreements with the Saints organization off the field, as I mentioned, but you still had some awesome times on the field playing for your hometown New Orleans Saints. And I want to ask you about some of your favorite memories and recall one of the games that I remember candidly back from your rookie year in 2015 when you guys were going into the game 1-4 and hosting the then 5-0 Atlanta Falcons, who were favored big time in that game. But you guys pulled the upset and you handed Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and the Falcons their first loss that season. Julio Jones in the game had 6 receptions for 93 yards, but I specifically remember you covering him and you having some really good moments against Don Julio Jones. That's what we call him on the Spanish broadcast, Delvin, bro. So whether it's that game or a different memory, what are some of your fondest times playing in the NFL and for the New Orleans Saints?
I want to say my first moment in a Superdome, against the Houston Texans. It was a preseason game, but it was a moment of that I arrived. I'm finally here. So my first moment, I want to say I went into the locker room that game. I saw my name on the back of the jersey and I cried. I cried because it was like, man, I'm here. I got through, camp. Well, I'm going through training camp. I got through OTAs. I got through the CFL. I got through my injury. I got through, trying to commit suicide. I was just like, man, I'm here. Like, it was just tears of joy. That's one of my greatest memories of there. And plus, obviously the Julio Jones and, all the stats and all that stuff, that's cool. But the thing that really sticks out to me is the networks and the communication and the connections that I've built along those 3 years that I was there. Because I still keep in contact with those people till this day. That what matters to me the most, because football, look, it's gone. It was there and it's gone. But I still have those relationships with those people over there. I treated the janitor as if he was the CEO. I always wanted to show respect just because of my gratitude, just to show that, man, I was grateful for being there. I was grateful for even practicing, stepping foot on the facility grounds, So those were my moments, and those were my memories that I will always cherish. And yeah.
Delvin Breaux is our guest on Twitter at BroShow24. Delvin, how's the reception been from the book, man, with Saints fans and everybody? I know you had your book signings down in the New Orleans area. I mean, what's your interactions like with Saints fans these days? They still reach out? You still get a lot of positive feedback from the Saints, from the Who Dat Nation?
Oh, man, it's awesome, man. It's all love. It's always been love since day one. And it's going well, man. The books are going well. The book signings are going well. Interactions are going well. I'm just left New Orleans where I sold out both days, down at the Metairie and Gretna location. And we're working out more locations at that. So, it's going well, man. I'm excited. I'm getting a lot of support from Who Dat Nation. And like I said, I'm just thankful. y'all continue to keep coming out, because I want to continue to share my story. I want my story to get around, and it's not, like I said, my story is not written to harm anybody or to hurt any of my family members or nothing. It's more so to put a message out, right? It's more so for other people to build courage in themselves to remember to not quit. You know, you ain't dead. You know, if you ain't dead, you can't quit. You have to continue to go on your journey, on your path, because you can inspire somebody else. So, yeah, man, it's awesome.
Delvin, before we let you go, can you talk a little bit about what else you're up to? I know you've been a big cannabis advocate and working on some other ventures besides your book. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I'm actually getting heavily involved in the cannabis industry. You know, it's pretty awesome. Shout out to my company in Denver, Co-Live Hemp. You know, they're doing some amazing things. And I just actually dropped my own hemp balm, my all-natural hemp balm. It's more so of a muscle recovery. It's a topical. And it's like your Icy Hot or your Tiger Balm. You know, or your Flexol, right? It's that, but it has a high advancement in CBD and CBG, 1,000 milligrams, CBD, 1,000 milligrams CBG, and it's more so for long-lasting relief and effect on pain. You know, helps with your arthritis, your chronic pain. So it's something that I'm heavily getting involved in, because I want to help the world. I want to. It's definitely changing my life, and it's changed my life, and I want to go ahead on and extend that to my community. You know, the African American community, to let them know that, you know, cannabis is good. You know, cannabis. Once you educate yourself on the matter, you understand the health benefits that you know they have to offer, and it's a plant, and it's beautiful. I love it, and plus I'm doing I'm gonna get off that because I can talk about that forever. And I'm doing like public speaking, motivational speaking and everything. I'm going around town talking about my story and doing camps and stuff like that. Just giving back my time in the community. You know, I think it's awesome, and it's something I always wanted to do. And I'm doing it. You know, giving back my time and being able to inspire the next person and the next generation. And I love it, man. It's a beautiful feeling, and yeah, I love it.
Hey, Delvin, before we go to break, I just wanted to say I'm so grateful for you coming on the show. I'm so inspired by your story. I think you're the living embodiment of everything happens for a reason. And I think it's so cool how you're so willing to share your story and help other people. I'm very grateful for you coming on today, and best of luck, man.
Indeed. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, gentlemen.
Thank you. Delvin Bro, certainly a major inspiration to many, myself included, man. That story is incredible. Unbroken is the book. Unbroken, the story of Delvin Bro, Unbroken spelled UNBREAUX, Bro, KEN. Available on Amazon. He's been doing book signings at Barnes & Noble, said there. He's looking to do a couple more in and around the New Orleans area, man. Go pick up a copy. His story is, I mean, it's one I think we've all followed here in Louisiana for sure with his time at LSU and whatnot, but it was deeper than just what happened on the football field, and it's incredibly, incredibly inspirational. And I think you said it best there. He's a perfect example of you're here for a reason, and some of the things he went through, whether it be, you know, injury or suicide attempts, it's something that everyone who comes across that can relate to in some way, whether it be a friend, a family member, a friend or a friend, something like that has touched just about everybody's life. So for him to open up and tell that story, it is incredibly inspirational.
Yeah, because for anybody else, Musso, I would think that'd be really frustrating. I was telling you off mic that Delvin Bro had potential to be such a great football player if none of this ever happened. I mean, he broke his neck, went to a different country, and was still back years later locking up Julio Jones. Like, this dude had major, major potential. And I would say what a shame that, you know, he wasn't able to bring that potential into fruition. But I think God clearly gave him a greater purpose in his life, Musso, and he's living out that purpose.
He's using that untapped potential to inspire others, and the story of why he wasn't able to tap in fully to his potential to inspire others. And that is a great gift to have. That really is. We'll grab our final break here of hour number 2. Much thanks to Delvin Bro. Much thanks to Andrew Lopez, who have joined us so far in the show. Come back with us here. One more segment. Ask Musso, ask us, ask Mario, ask the room, ask anything you want. We'll answer your questions next here on Middle Relief, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Join the Guarantee Media family and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension for a day of swamp pop music and dancing on Saturday, June 26th at Lamar Dixon. Enjoy live music from Nana Shaw, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, the Don Rich Band, and the Mojos. Cutting up a rug can work up an appetite, so be sure to grab a delicious bowl of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safe Jambalaya Cook-Off in partnership with the Jambalaya Festival Association to raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Baton Rouge. Visit 1007thetiger.com for details.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country.
Join us for a Wednesday edition of Middle Relief. We're talking LSU baseball as the Tigers are looking to replace Paul Maneri and find their next head coach, breaking down the latest around the NFL and college football, and more. Tune in 12 to 3, 1045 ESPN.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here, final segment of hour number 2 of Middle Relief. Musso along with Mario. We'll wrap up with a little Ask Us. Jeff G gets us started. If you could have dinner with one athlete in any sport, past or present, who would it be? That's a tough question.
Yeah, any athlete.
in
Anytime.
any sport,
Yeah. Ooh.
past or present.
Oh.
I assume we'll go living or dead as well.
Why not Mickey Mantle? That surprised me.
That's a good one.
That might surprise you, but
That's a good one. I mean, Mickey's good. I mean, mine, man, wow. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Michael Jordan, of course, would be really interesting. Tiger Woods would be very interesting to me. Ted Williams as well, even though he's not the nicest guy in the world. I would very much like to talk to Ted Williams.
This is super, super random. Please don't scoff at me, Musso, but are you familiar with Adrian McPherson? He used to be a third-string quarterback for the Saints years and years ago, and his NFL career ended when, in a preseason game in 2006 between the Saints and the Titans, the Tennessee Titans mascot struck him with a golf cart, and he never recovered after that. And I like to talk to him to just see what that experience was like, how much money he got from Tennessee, and just take me through that, because that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a good one as well, man. Just anything like that. They all have great stories to tell. So, I mean, to be able to sit down with one of those guys, that'd be awesome. The GOAT, Craig Schilling, asked us, National Fudge Day, favorite way to eat fudge?
Oh, this is an OTB question too.
Well, Craig, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know there were that many ways to eat fudge. So, I mean, I like the slices. Like, just sliced fudge is good. Hot fudge over some ice cream is always delicious as well.
So in the river, I don't know if you've ever been to the Riverwalk in New Orleans, but on the food court, next to the food court, same hallway, they have this like fudge shop. And in this fudge shop, they have a guy who sits there throughout the whole time, at least from what I can see, and he's making all kinds of fudge. Like, they have a conveyor belt. He's making different combinations of different objects. It makes the fudge look really, really good. I've honestly never had it, but if I did want to try a certain kind of fudge, I would go to that.
I feel like I just want to watch that happen.
Really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's good stuff. Nookie asked us, did Musso and Jeremy have some sort of physical altercation since they apparently cannot be in the same room at the same time? First of all, that would end quite poorly for me.
He's literally outside right now.
I wouldn't be here if that happened. So no, Nookie, that didn't happen at all. Normally, I have to go prep AFR for the last hour, so I can't be in here. But Matt's on vacation, so I might hang out one of these days here the rest of the week with y'all for the 3 hours, if that's okay, Mario. We might make that happen.
It's more than okay. It is welcomed.
Bilbo Baggins asked the relievers, which I don't hate that name. That's fun. Yeah. If you could compete in an Olympic event, which would you pick and why? Summer Olympics. Let's do, I guess track and field. I don't really know. Maybe the 100 meters.
Archery.
Archery would be cool.
That's one that doesn't require as much athleticism. It just requires like some laser focus. And if I had the proper training, that's probably the Olympic sport I'm going with.
Ask Mario and Musso, even if Max Johnson is 2% better, do you still give the job to Brennan out of respect because he waited so long? No. You give the job to the best guy. The best guy should play. Whoever gives you the best chance to win. I've said it. I think both guys will play early to start the season. I think Max Johnson will win the job.
Yeah, it's certainly okay to root for Miles. I'm rooting for Miles, candidly, but no, the job should go to the best quarterback, and I trust the coaching staff to make that decision.
Justin Roll asked us, what happens to Drew if LSU hires Bianco? It's been said he doesn't want to coach his sons. I think he'd suck it up for 1 year, Justin. I don't think he's going to force his son to transfer out of the program. So if he takes the job, which many expect him to do, myself included, I think he toughs it out for 1 year and coaches Drew. So we have time for one more if we can find a good one here. Jeff G asked Musso, since Moscona is on vacation, do you feel like you are on vacation also? Not really, but I actually will be on vacation next week anyway, so that counts just the same. That's going to do it for the first 2 hours of Middle Relief. Mario will be back next hour. Jeremy Hill in the co-captain's chair to host alongside. Plenty more Pelicans talk coming. Plenty more LSU football talk coming as well. Stay tuned for hour number 3, Middle Relief, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
sunshine.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Join the Guarantee Media family and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension for a day of swamp pop music and dancing on Saturday, June 26th at Lamar Dixon. Enjoy live music from Nana Shaw, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, the Don Rich Band, and the Mojos. Cutting up a rug can work up an appetite, so be sure to grab a delicious bowl of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safe Jambalaya Cook-Off in partnership with the Jambalaya Festival Association to raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Baton Rouge. Visit 1007thetiger.com for details.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Injury Lawyers. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. The Mavericks and longtime GM Donnie Nelson have mutually agreed to part ways. The departure comes after internal friction due to the increased decision-making influence of Dallas Director of Quantitative Research and Development, Haralabos Voulgaris. Stan Van Gundy out as Pelicans coach. Scott Brooks out as Wizards coach. He and the team unable to work out a new agreement. The Clippers will be without forward Kawhi Leonard for Game 5 against the Jazz tonight because of a right knee sprain. He could miss the rest of that second-round NBA playoff series. Kawhi's absence represents a major opportunity for LA forward Paul George, says our Jay Williams.
You can't control everything around you. What you can control is the way that PG has played the last 2 games. Yes. 2 back-to-back 30-point performances. He's really stepped up. Now without Kawhi, you're going to need Reggie Jackson, Markieff Morris, guys like that to step up, but that falls on the shoulders of Paul George, and it's time.
JFR Morning Show, Keyshawn J. Will and Zubin, injured Utah guard Mike Conley out tonight. Suns point guard Chris Paul in the NBA's health and safety protocol. He's out indefinitely.
Coming up Thursday, the Sixers and the Hawks are back in Philly for Game 5, and both teams are facing serious injury questions. So will the winner of the series just be whoever's healthier? That's Thursday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
What's up, people? Welcome in to hour number 3 of Middle Relief. Mario Jerez alongside Jeremy Hill. As usual, lots going on in the world of sports today. The Pelicans are looking for a new head coach. Kawhi Leonard out for the season for the LA Clippers, so it looks like the LA Clippers and the New Orleans Pelicans will remain the only two NBA teams to never even reach a conference final, and LSU baseball is still looking for their next head coach. So, whole lot going on, whole lot to break down today. Jay Hilly, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on again.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. It's time to continue our little exercise that we've been doing here on Middle Relief and count down the days remaining to the LSU football season. Friends, Jay Hill, we are now 79 days away from kickoff between LSU and UCLA in the Rose Bowl. It'll be the first ever meeting between those two programs. The last player to wear number 79 for LSU was one Lloyd Cushenberry. There was no 79 on the roster last year. There's no 79 on the roster this year. But the last 79 was a pretty memorable one, Jay Hilly. He was the first offensive lineman in the history of LSU to get that coveted number 18 jersey, who, as you know, is given to the player who best represents what it means to be an LSU Tiger, both on and off the field. That, according to Coach O and Les Miles before him. What do you remember about Lloyd Cushenberry, who's now going into his second season with the Denver Broncos in the NFL?
I remember him being a huge staple in the middle of that offensive line and keeping Joe protected in that big run that we had. And he was a pivotal part in the protection and getting Clyde those zone runs up the middle. So he's going to be a great player in the NFL, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does in the future.
LSU had two really good centers consecutively there with Will Clapp before him. I thought he learned a lot from Will Clapp, and once he got into the starting role, as you said, he was a big piece of that offensive line and playing pretty well in the NFL now for the Denver Broncos, too. He was blocking in that game when the Broncos had to play like a third-string wide receiver at quarterback, and I thought the Broncos' offensive line gave a spirited effort that day, including Lloyd Cushenberry. So shout out to him. Continuing the little exercise, if you're an LSU fan and you hear the number 79, what comes to mind? What comes to mind for a lot of people, apparently, is this game back in 1979 when LSU lost a very memorable game to USC. Southern Cal back then was ranked number 1 in the nation. By the way, if anybody in the chat remembers this game or has any memories, please get them into the YouTube chat and let us know, because this is obviously way, way before my time. But I'm very intrigued by this game because, as you know, Jay Hilly, I'm a big LSU historian. I'm very fascinated of what the program was like before, they reached the glory days with Les Miles and with Nick Saban and with Coach O. But going back to 1979, again, USC going into this game was stacked. Number 1 in the nation from this USC team in 1979. 36 of those Trojans players made it to the NFL. 12 of them, Jay Hilly, were first-round draft picks. And when you look at these names, some legends playing for the USC Trojans that day. Charles White was on the team. Marcus Allen was on the team. Both of those guys were Heisman Trophy winners. Also, Ronnie Lott was on the team. Anthony Munoz. Man. And you also had Jeff Fisher, who was on staff, longtime NFL head coach, and USC had all the star power in the world, which resulted in LSU being an 11-point underdog in this game. So imagine, Jay Hilly, LSU's campus, 1979. LSU at this point is undefeated. They're 2-0. They're not ranked nearly as high as USC, but you have the number 1 team in the nation coming to your backyard and playing in Baton Rouge. You've obviously experienced that kind of more in the modern day, but listen to this quote from Mark Ippolito, who played on that 1976 LSU team. I might have got his first name wrong. If I do, I'm sorry. But Ippolito, who was a defensive lineman for LSU back in 1979, had this quote to say on an article on CrescentCitySports.com. He said, when Mike the Tiger, came out of his trailer, things changed. Cheerleaders used to poke the cage to make him roar. They did such a good job stationed behind the USC bench. Some of the USC players ran onto the field, taking back that there was a real tiger in that cage. They were collecting in the middle of the field for as long as they could. Some were completely frightened. What a different time. Can you imagine what this was like, Tiger Stadium in the 70s?
Oh, I couldn't imagine. It's probably rocking. And to be a road team and never be in an environment like that, it's pretty crazy, because I've played in other environments and there's nothing like SEC environments, and the fans just get super involved and the crowd gets super crazy. You can't hear anything, and I'm sure if you weren't expecting to see a Tiger there, it probably gets you a little loose in your boots.
I'm having a little trouble seeing the YouTube chat, Jay Hilly, so if you see anybody trying to interact with us and remembering this game, please let me know.
I got you.
As I continue to give some context. Guess who the quarterback was in this game? One Steve Ensminger, who back from 1976 to 1979 was part of a 2-quarterback system under head coach Charlie McClendon. They kind of split those duties, but Ensminger was obviously the guy that ultimately kind of flourished and got the nickname of being the gunslinger. And also, fun fact, in this game, Hokie Gaijan was playing for LSU. Are you familiar with Hokie Gaijan?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so Hokie Gaijan was a longtime fullback for LSU and also for the New Orleans Saints, but he's a guy I look up to a lot because he was a longtime color commentator on the New Orleans Saints broadcast alongside Jim Henderson for a really long time. He's the guy that Deuce McAllister succeeded as color commentator for the New Orleans Saints broadcast. And he's a legend in football, obviously playing for LSU and for the Saints back then. That's very rare. I believe he's in the LSU and Saints Hall of Fame both. We'll have to verify that. But I look up to him a lot as a broadcaster, and I learned a lot from going to the Saints games, listening to Jim Henderson, listening to him. He was an inspiration to me. May he rest in peace. And he had some really good times for LSU as well, including this game back in the 70s against USC. And it ended in a loss, I should mention. It was a 12-10 win for USC, as most LSU fans who were there back then know. But LSU was in this game, Jeremy Hill. It was, I hate to say this and bring back bad memories, but it reminds me a little bit of the 2012 Alabama game where LSU appeared to have the game won at home in front of a ruckus crowd against the number 1 team in the nation at the time, and it just did not pan their way. And LSU was up 12-3 when the fourth quarter started, but they straight up blew it. USC came back, they turned them over, and they win the game and score a touchdown with 30 seconds left after LSU had that 9-point lead to start the fourth quarter. So a very crushing loss for the LSU Tigers, but a very memorable game. It was Charlie McClendon's last year, as I mentioned. They still finished the season in a really good fashion and sent old Charlie Mack off on a good note, but they did not win this game, and it's a very memorable moment in LSU history.
Yeah, man, it sucks to be on the bad side of history, but when you look at all those Hall of Famers that they had on that team, you kind of feel good that we were at least competing in that game and had a chance to win it. And I'm sure it was a crazy, crazy environment to be in.
Man, I could imagine. It's going to be a crazy environment this season too, Jay Hilly, with the fans being back and UCLA now announcing that they're going to have 100% capacity for the UCLA versus LSU games. I have bad news for you, Jay Hilly. I checked since that news broke, and it looks like the LSU UCLA tickets are still more expensive than the Georgia Clemson tickets from that same weekend. But with that being said, I'm expecting LSU fans to take this thing over. This is going to be like at least 60-40 LSU, despite what the ticket prices are. What do you think?
I have no idea, because if it's in LA, then there could be a lot of LA fans there, but I'm hoping Tiger Nation shows up and shows out, and we get that crowd advantage, because I'm sure we're going to be ready to roll in that first game.
As you said, California, not the biggest football-centric place, and LA is a huge city, so I imagine they have a decent contingent of LSU alumni there. And LA is an awesome trip. Are you kidding me? I mean, you've seen the LSU fans travel throughout your career, and I've heard a motto, I forgot where I saw it, but I think the adage is that we don't travel, we take over. And they've kind of done that. And yes, California is far away geographically. It's on the other side of the country. But I see LSU opening the season against a non-conference opponent that has a little bit of cachet. They're down right now under Chip Kelly, but they're still a decent college football program. They may or may not be ranked when this game happens. But LSU fans still really pumped for this, and they should be. LSU right now is favored by 3.5 points against UCLA, says the odds makers. Do you think that's fair? Are you expecting LSU, based on what you know right now, to win a little bit more comfortably?
I think based off of our record last season, that's probably why it's not what us Tiger Nation would hope the spread would be. But I think we should be favored most definitely, and they got a lot of starters returning, so that's probably a lot of reason why the spread isn't as big as you would think.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to break down that game kind of as we go in the coming weeks, LSU versus UCLA. But what do you think LSU fans are kind of expecting right now? Because we were talking about it with Musso. It's interesting. LSU fans, from what we can see, are still kind of expecting this to be a win. And yes, UCLA is a veteran team and bringing back a lot, but the defense is supposed to be a lot better. They want to see results immediately. The running game that we've been talking about needs to get better. They want to see results immediately. And I think LSU fans would not really be satisfied with a close win. Or maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
I think we definitely not going to be satisfied with a close win. We expect to go in there and dominate, based just off of the recruits that we bring in on a year in and year out basis, and based on the 2 quarterbacks we had. I think both of them give us a great chance to go out there and be successful. So I'm excited to see what we do out there, and it's going to be a great test for us to start the season.
So Nookie in the chat is asking if this 1979 game against USC was the game where LSU fans threw oranges. And based on a Google search, Nookie, that is not the game. I think this was LSU and Florida State back in 1982 when the student section threw oranges onto the field. Definitely want to know a little bit more context there. Going to say that for another time. Lance Richard, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lance Richard in the chat also wants me to stop calling you Jay Hilly, but that is what you go by and literally what you told me to call you. So I'm going to continue to call you Jay Hilly. Hilly.
You're good with me, brother.
Awesome. We're going to break down a little bit more LSU football when we get back, and also maybe get into a little bit of NFL talk. Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr both had some really interesting comments in the past couple of days. All that and more coming up here on Middle Relief with Mario Jerez and Jeremy Hill, a.k.a. Jay Hilly. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Summertime when the fishing's easy. At least it will be if you go get your marine electronics from Front to Back Boat Service. That's right. It is time to take your boat to a new level. You want brand new troll motors. You want cameras you can see the fish under the water in HD before you even cast. You want brand new speakers for that thing. You want Front to Back Boat Service. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com. Find them on Facebook, 225-928-9644. They do it all. That's why it's Front to Back Boat Service.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm out on vacation, but Jumbo Ronnie Rance will be in. LSU, the latest on the baseball coaching search. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in to Middle Relief. Mario Jerez alongside Jeremy Hill talking a little bit of football here in the third hour. Stay tuned for After Further Review with Ronnie Rance. That's funny to say, but Ronnie does a really good job. He'll obviously have all of your LSU baseball coverage as the Tigers are still looking for a baseball coach, a head baseball coach to replace Paul Maneri, and the New Orleans Pelicans also looking for a new head coach to replace Stan Van Gundy. We'll talk a little bit of NBA with Jeremy in the next segment. Jay Hilly, Jeremy, Jay Hill, whatever you want me to call him, my co-host, if that's okay, chat police. We're going to do that the next segment, but this segment coming up, I want to talk a little bit of NFL, and Aaron Rodgers in the news once again. We've talked about that a lot. One guy we have not talked about as much is Derek Carr, quarterback of the Oakland Raiders, but he is also in the news. And one stat that you and I both heard on Off the Bench this morning with T-Bob Hebert and Jacob Hester, which is wild to me, is that Derek Carr has more losses than any other quarterback in NFL history through his first 7 seasons. And that's with a 13-3 season in there. So I think it's absolutely wild that Derek Carr has had so much misfortune with the Oakland Raiders, but he's still out here saying that if the Raiders were to trade him, he would probably quit. He has no interest playing for another team. And it's pretty crazy, man, to me, to see a modern athlete in any sport, football, basketball, whatever, be so loyal to a team, right? Usually you're looking out for yourself. You want to make your money. You want to take care of yourself, and all that is perfectly fine. But David Carr going old school as hell here, and this is something that I've never seen before, especially for a team that he hasn't had very much success with, at least win-loss wise, with the Oakland Raiders. So this was funny to me.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a unique situation for Derek. He definitely feels loyal to the organization. They gave him an opportunity and they gave him another contract. And obviously they've been giving him year after year to try to win a Super Bowl. So I'm sure that's the only thing that's been on his mind, and I'm sure that's really what he wants. And I hope that if the Raiders do move on from him, that he wouldn't give up on football, because I really think he's probably, if he's not an elite quarterback, but he's definitely above average quarterback. And with the right things around him, I think he can definitely make all the throws. So hopefully, he doesn't just give up on football like that, but we'll see.
We're talking about former broadcasters here. It seems to be a theme. John Gruden was one of the best color guys I had ever seen, man, like doing the Monday Night Football games, because he had so much knowledge of the game, but he also had so much passion for the game. Like, you could tell he was very excited and very passionate about what he was talking about. And I could tell, watching the games, that this guy's a great play-by-play man, but he very clearly is itching to get back into coaching. And obviously the Raiders gave him that huge contract, that 10-year contract to lead the Raiders. What did you think of that move at the time? And do you think that he could ultimately have success again with the Las Vegas Raiders 20 years after his first initial successful run with this team?
Yeah, definitely would have had to take that amount of money to get him out of the booth doing, having a great time. Like, I loved watching him on Monday Night Football. So, but as far as him going to the Raiders, I think 10 years is an awful long time to get something done. And if he's there that whole time, you would hope that he at least get a Super Bowl appearance. So we'll see what direction the Raiders go in next year, and we'll see kind of what their win-loss is. But I think the Chiefs are going to win that division.
Yeah, Bilbo in the chat seems to be a little confused, saying, "What a crybaby, trade me or I quit." No, Bilbo, he's saying that if he is traded, he's going to quit. He doesn't want to play for anybody except the Las Vegas Raiders, that he hasn't had very much success with as a team. Again, as Jeremy says, he's put up good numbers, and he's definitely had some really good moments. And I even tend to remember a moment he had with John Gruden, or John Gruden calling him out publicly, something like that. But he doesn't really seem to be gelling with his head coach as much. I think, just like I could tell John Gruden by his mannerisms, that he's kind of itching to get back into coaching. Sometimes it kind of feels like he's itching for a new quarterback, and that might happen sooner rather than later for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, you never know. That there was so many rumors about them trading him. I guess probably that's why he had to, make that statement that he made, that he doesn't want to play for any other team. So we'll see what he does. I think it's really going to be based off this season, and that leash maybe get a lot shorter for Derek Carr.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot shorter for Derek Carr. And Speaking of quarterbacks going to new places and trying to have newfound success, Sam Darnold is finally out of New York, and he's probably going to be the Panthers' starting quarterback this season. He's going to be the Panthers' starting quarterback this season after they deal Teddy Bridgewater. And there's an interesting write-up on ESPN.com where they interview Robbie Anderson, who already had experience playing with Sam Darnold, played really well with Sam Darnold. He was on my fantasy team when he played for the Jets, and the Jets didn't win many games, but Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold were hooking up and had a lot of success. And he says that Sam Darnold looks a lot less miserable, and people are just continuing to poo-poo on Adam Gase's grave, which is kind of messed up. But if you're a teammate, can you really tell if a player, specifically a quarterback, coming from a situation that was not benefiting him and where he wasn't succeeding, can you see the glow on somebody like that's face that Robbie Anderson is talking about?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And then, like I said, I had a couple of teammates that played for Chip Kelly, and it was like they just were so happy to be in a new environment. And I hope that the Gase environment wasn't like that, but it sounds like a lot of guys who leave him, Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell, and the list kind of goes on and on. They don't really have many nice things to say about him, but I'm sure Sam Darnold's just happy to be in that situation. He has a great running back and two great receivers on the outside, so hopefully he has a lot more success in Carolina.
That's the thing that not many people are bringing up about the Panthers, man, is McCaffrey's going to be back. And this is an offense that put up numbers. Again, they didn't do it in the win-loss column, but under Joe Brady in his first season, they did have success. And they were actually one of only two NFL teams to have multiple 1,000-yard receivers. The Kansas City Chiefs were the other, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, who we just mentioned. Imagine how Christian McCaffrey is going to impact that offense. But as I was telling Musso, man, until you can put up all the numbers in the world, you can have a great quarterback, great receivers, but until your defense is halfway decent, I'm not really going to take you seriously. And I definitely take the Panthers' offense seriously, but still leaving a little bit to be desired on defense. And I don't think they're ready to challenge Tampa Bay or even a team like the New Orleans Saints.
No, not at all. I think and losing Luke Kuechly was a big piece of that defense, and it kind of feels like they never kind of replaced that. And just going into the season, they're not probably anyone's pick to win the NFC South because they have so many holes to fill on that side of the ball. So hopefully next year, Sam can kind of lead that team, and we can kind of see the quarterback that everyone kind of expect him to be going that high in the draft, and he can kind of lead them to be competitive next season.
That's a really tough situation, obviously, for every quarterback to be in, being a rookie in a place like the New York Jets. But how would you kind of evaluate Sam Darnold so far? Do you think he'll have success in Carolina? Because he did have some really good moments. I remember one touchdown run he had against the Broncos on a Thursday night. He has athleticism. He seems to have pretty good presence in the pocket as well, but his coach didn't really help think for him at all. And the evaluation for Sam Darnold skewed in the eyes of many. You have some people really, really excited about him, as I said, being away from Adam Gase, and you have people that think, maybe he was a little overrated coming out of USC. Where do you fall in that argument?
I want to see him this year, then I'll kind of probably have my final decision. Like you said, he has some great moments, and then sometimes he throws put the ball in the harm's way, which you don't want to see. So with this year going up, he's going to have a top 3 running back and 2,000-yard receivers on the outside. So he should have success, and we'll kind of make a better judgment after this season.
We'll see what the NFC South pecking order is, where the Saints stack up. Tampa Bay, obviously the favorites there, winning the Super Bowl and bringing back 22 of their starters. That's insane. That hasn't happened in many, many years. And you were part of a Super Bowl winning team, correct?
Yeah.
And usually whenever teams win Super Bowls, thinking back at the New Orleans Saints in 2009, as an example, you have a lot of attrition. You have a lot of guys leave to go get more money somewhere, or maybe go get more playing time somewhere. It's very, very rare that all those guys come back to a Super Bowl winning team. And that's really, really scary for the other teams in the NFC South.
Yeah, most definitely. And then when you got a quarterback that takes the type of pay cuts Tom does, it makes it super easy for the GM to move money around and bring guys back. And they're going to be tough out. I'm sure they're hungry to kind of go back-to-back to do something that's never been done before. So, that's probably going to be my pick for the NFC South.
Yeah, mine too, unfortunately. Spanish broadcast won't be super happy about that, but it's kind of, as far as the Saints are concerned, it's kind of been a tame offseason. Training camp's going to be really lit when we finally get to see Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill physically battle for that training camp spot. But the offseason's been a little tame for the New Orleans Saints, and still lots of question marks, a lot of rookies that are going to be counted to play really big roles in this season. But we're going to be a little slow on Saints news, I think, until training camp starts up, which should be really exciting, as I said.
Yeah, I think with the salary cap, it kind of made the Saints pretty strapped, and they couldn't do a lot of the moves that they would like to make. And hopefully when the cap goes up, the Saints can kind of make a little more splash moves in the offseason. But training camp is definitely going to be a huge thing to see Jameis go out there and compete and throw the ball to Michael Thomas and see if they can develop a little rapport and get some touchdowns going. It's going to be a good year for the Saints.
Yeah, honestly, Jay Hilly, on the surface, most of my questions with the Saints, I think, are about their defense. And that sounds weird to say because you're replacing Drew Brees, who had been there for 15 years. But I'm just confident Sean Payton will find a way to get it done and to move the ball. But I still have big question marks on defense. You lose two really important starters in Trey Hendrickson and Janoris Jenkins. You might be counting on two rookies to replace those guys. But Dennis Allen's also done a really good job, and I think he's a little underrated when it comes to the pantheon of NFL defensive coordinators. So I'm not totally worried, but I think I'm a little more concerned about the Saints' defense compared to their offense.
Excuse me. Yeah, most definitely. The Saints defense, they're definitely going to have to get another cornerback, and then they're definitely going to have to get someone opposite of Cam Jordan to get to the quarterback. And hopefully Davenport can step up. I know that was a big pick for them, and hopefully he can have the year that they expect him to have. And they definitely got a lot of good safeties with Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins. So they still got guys over there on the defensive side of the ball who can make plays. So hopefully they can patch the holes and their defense can be competitive.
Yeah, you mentioned Marcus Williams. That's another guy they're going to have to pay soon if they want to keep him on the team. And the 2017 draft class was so good that it might have created some problems there because you've got to pay Marshawn Lattimore. You got to pay Ryan Ramczyk, who's from that same draft class, and you got to pay Marcus Williams eventually too if you want to keep him, who's one of the more underrated safeties in the entire NFL. So, man, again, kind of a tame offseason, but still so many questions for the Saints heading into 2021. They'll open up the season against the Green Bay Packers inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Is it still the Mercedes-Benz Superdome?
Yeah, it's still
okay. I know they signed the rights for a new name, but still the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as of now, and that is where the Saints and the Packers will open week 1 of their respective NFL seasons. We're going to switch gears and talk a little bit of NBA. Big day in the NBA. Kevin Durant is really, really good again, getting a lot of love from a lot of people. Kawhi Leonard is out for the rest of the season for the LA Clippers, and the Pelicans have to find a new head coach. Stan Van Gundy out as the head man of the Pels. All that and more coming up here on Middle Relief with Mario Jerez and Jeremy Hill. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Join us for a Wednesday's edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by Bed Rivers, live from City Slice Pints and Pizzas from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have the best bets for the U.S. Open, NBA, and NHL. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in to Middle Relief. Mario Jerez alongside Jeremy Hill. Stay tuned for After Further Review with Ronnie Rance coming up at 3 o'clock. Lots going on in the world of sports today. Stan Van Gundy out as head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. LSU baseball still looking for a head coach. And the NBA playoffs continue to roll on. It's getting pretty good, Jay Hilly, with the Lakers being out of the playoffs. So some new blood in the Western Conference. The Nets in big trouble as well in their series. Although they got the big win last night, they're still competing with the Milwaukee Bucks. So really exciting times in the NBA playoffs. I want to get into that this segment. Before we do, some news out of Lafayette. And apparently UL Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, will soon announce a $15 million gift that it received for the naming rights for Cajun Field. It's the largest gift in the history of ULL athletics. Going to be a big boost for that program. And they got a little bit of juice right now, Jay Hilly, as we were talking about off mic, coming off a really good season. Billy Napier has appeared to be a really good head coach. He's somebody who I heard turned down the Auburn job so he could stay at UL Lafayette, which I think speaks to kind of his coaching acumen. And this is relevant to me because if UL is able to continue this run that they're on and stay relevant the way they are and pick up wins like they did against Iowa State, who was ranked on the road last season, they might be relevant. And this new format of the playoffs, this 12-team system that is eventually going to come to college football, may impact UL Lafayette directly. And I want to ask you if you think that impacts LSU at all, because a big leg up that LSU has when it comes to recruiting is there's no in-state rivals, right? Like there's no Alabama, Auburn, there's no Florida, Florida State, nothing like that. And I don't think ULL and Tulane, schools like this, are ready to compete with LSU on the field. But I think it does make it a little interesting, and it makes it a better sell for recruits if this system does come to fruition and UL Lafayette stays on the level that they're at. What's your take?
I think it'll definitely probably land them maybe one 4-star recruit, but LSU lands 20 4-star recruits every year. It's just a difference. I think guys who get those offers from those Power 5 schools, the USCs, Alabamas, LSUs, they're not going to pass up on that to go to ULL. So, but I definitely think it's definitely great for the state of Louisiana, definitely great for recruits in Louisiana, and it'll definitely probably keep more recruits in the state for sure.
What's your take on Stan Van Gundy being fired, man?
Not shocked at all. I know.
You called it.
Yeah, I heard.
You called it with Jay Madison yesterday.
Yeah, I heard those whispers, and then I just, with the relationship with Zion, you can kind of just see it was coming. It was a matter of when, not if.
I told this to Musso, but kind of all year as the Pelicans went under Stan Van Gundy in his first season, I said, give him a full year, right? Like, give him a full season. Let's evaluate. Let's be patient with this, because obviously it's a high-pressure thing. But Zion's already on his second coach at the time. Now it's his third. And it'd be good to have a little bit of continuity. But, it obviously failed. It was a very big decision that David Griffin missed on, frankly. It was his first test as leader of the Pelicans, executive leader of the Pelicans, and he failed. And now he has to make up for it by hiring a coach that's better. And I've been comparing it to Bo Pelini because it's very similar, Jeremy, from start to finish. It's similar from when they were both hired. Stan Van Gundy and Bo Pelini both had not had success as coaches in the last 10 years, and both of them were candidates that nobody else was after. Nobody but the Pelicans was trying to hire Stan Van. Nobody but LSU was trying to hire Bo Pelini. And in both cases, both parties admitted defeat and kind of moved on, admitted that they messed up. And LSU's hoping to clean up that mess with Durante Jones on defense this year, just like the Pelicans are hoping to clean up Stan Van Gundy's mess, frankly, also on defense, because they did not get better on that side of the floor. But it's something that failed from the beginning, and it's a move that David Griffin had to make. But now the only problem is Zion is now on his third NBA coach in 3 seasons, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, when you have a player as talented as Zion, you expect to at least make the 10 seed and get to the play-in. I think every Pelicans fan expected that at the bare minimum, and to not even get close to that, not even be competitive towards the end of the season, it just speaks a lot to the coaching staff and what they needed to get done throughout the season. And to me, to be a defensive coach and kind of watch the Pelicans on defense the whole season, it was very demoralizing. So hopefully next season they can get a coach that's, relatable with the players and can get those guys going and get those guys competitive, because they have so much talent. You just want to see them, make something out of it.
And Zion and Brandon Ingram had to play some kind of role in this, right? Because obviously they don't have that much dominion being players, but I promise you that David Griffin had some kind of sit-down meeting with Zion Williamson and asked him point blank, do you think we should keep this guy? And Zion probably did not have a very favorable opinion. And as you said, they didn't do a very good job of hiding it. You could tell watching the games. You could tell in their exit press conference that me and Musso were talking about. A lot of guys, when they were asked about Stan Van Gundy, straight up didn't even address him. Like, they basically ignored the question and was just like, yeah, the coaching staff, but didn't mention him, except for Brandon Ingram, who tried to be kind of nice and said, yeah, it's his first year. Maybe we should be patient. But even in Brandon Ingram's answer, which was polite, you could tell they weren't really vibing with him. And I think it's the right move for the Pelicans to fire Stan Van Gundy. We'll see who they get to replace him. Going to be a big, big decision for David Griffin and company. I want to transition now and talk a little bit about the current NBA playoffs and one Kevin Durant, because, man, we can continue to laugh at KD all we want, and he deserves to be laughed at for the move he pulled leaving OKC to go to the Golden State Warriors. But this man is one of the best players in basketball, if not the best player in the NBA. What he did last night, Jay Hilly, absolutely unbelievable. 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, and then on the defensive side of the ball, 3 steals and 2 blocks. And we heard a lot about this morning, even when you were talking with Jake and with T-Bob about, Giannis's mentality versus Kevin Durant's mentality. And I think that's kind of an absurd criticism, but at the same time, it's kind of fair, because every time KD has been in these big moments, he always steps up and he always puts the dagger in other teams. Giannis has had that chance. He's been on those stages. He was on it last night. They have a chance to tie the game. Chris Middleton drives into the lane, makes the perfect play, and Giannis just fumbles the ball. And you have a chance to beat the Brooklyn Nets last night. Don't get it done. MVP has to come through in that situation if you're Giannis, the 2-time defending MVP. But Kevin Durant is the big boy in this series, and he might be the best player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And I think the biggest thing I would love to see from Giannis is him take that challenge of guarding Durant. And I don't think I've ever seen him do it, especially in the fourth quarter. I think Kevin Durant had 20 points in the fourth quarter, and you didn't see Giannis really try to guard him really much at all. And that's crazy to me for a player who's won Defensive Player of the Year to not want to take that challenge on. And if you watch Game 3, Kevin Durant saw Chris Middleton had it going, and he said, hey, I'll take the challenge of guarding him. plus trying to score on the other end. So you just see it's a difference in mentality to me.
Yeah, but it's Kevin Durant, man. Like that's all fine and good, and you can have that mentality. You should if you're, like I said, an MVP candidate. But Budenholzer, I think, is a really good coach. He was under Popovich for a long time, and he's obviously done a really good job at Milwaukee too. But a lot of people are kind of criticizing him specifically, and for that same thing, why don't you have Giannis on Kevin Durant? CJ McCollum came out and tweeted, if your first team, he did not at Drew Holiday, he subtweeted Drew Holiday saying that if your first team all defensive player, how are you not checking easy money sniper, which is Kevin Durant's comments. First of all, CJ McCollum sucks on defense, so I don't know why he's saying that. Second of all, Drew Holiday ended his life guarding him and Damian Lillard in that playoff series when the Pelicans swept the Portland Trailblazers. So I don't know why CJ McCollum is out here tweeting that stuff, but I think it's a little bit unfair to criticize Budenholzer's coaching and Budenholzer's coaching decisions, because although he did have some matchups on defense that a lot of people didn't agree with, not putting Drew or Giannis on Kevin Durant in certain situations, they were still right there. At the end of the game, they still could have tied the game. If Giannis doesn't fumble the ball and just converts on the wide open dunk, that game's going into overtime, and it's a different ball game. So I think the criticism for Budenholzer is a little unfair, and I think CJ McCollum should sit down.
Yeah. CJ, he didn't really add it. He could have meant Giannis. Giannis made the first team, I believe, as well. So I would hope that he was meant Giannis, because Drew Holiday is 6'3". That's not a good matchup for him trying to guard Kevin Durant. So
he tried tried when he was on the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And the Warriors won that series in 5 games.
Yeah. He's just, when Kevin has it going, he's just unstoppable. I think PJ Tucker almost put a finger in his eye, and he still made it and won. So Kevin's just a tough guard. You just got to hope that he's off and he's missing his jump shots.
Greg Lamont in chat says, "Can we just make Zion the coach?" That might be a good decision.
Hey, yeah, I actually wouldn't mind that. Zion was running some point guard last year, and he looked pretty impressive. I want to kind of see him do a little more of that next season.
William Ivy in the chat, who I'm shocked is talking basketball with us right now, because he's one of the people that usually complains, but he brings up kind of a good point, in my opinion, because he said the Pelicans should not hire a coach. Players don't do what coaches say anyway. Just go without a coach for 1 season. And unfortunately in the NBA, that sounds ridiculous, but it feels like that's the reality sometimes. And that's a lot of people that have been maybe not sticking up for Stan Van Gundy, but trying to be partial in the situation, think that, and I've heard some of these opinions, think that Stan Van was just hard on the players, and some of the players maybe just aren't as acceptable to coaching. So that would speak to William Ivy's point.
Yeah, I think there's just a generational gap between them and philosophies as well. These kids grew up on social media and AAU, and it's just Stan comes from a different era. So it's just, they kind of collaged, and you can just see that they had no rapport, and the players weren't high-fiving them and chest bumping them. It just was a whole different vibe. So hopefully they kind of get a younger coach in that can relate more with the players. All of the up-and-coming players are all younger guys, from Jackson Hayes to Lonzo to B.I. and Zion and even Brandon Hart. So Josh Hart, I'm sorry. So you want to get a coach that can relate to those guys.
Yeah, and Josh Hart, I think, played a factor in this, because he came out and said that he wants a fresh start, and he's probably contributing to those reports of the players not vibing with Stan Van Gundy. And maybe David Griffin, maybe that was the last straw for David Griffin. Maybe he thought we really do need to go get somebody better. And whoever takes over, I think, needs to be philosophically different than Stan Van Gundy. His rotations made no sense. Zion is 20 years old, but he's 44th in the NBA in minutes per game, playing just over 32 minutes per game. Brandon Ingram is 22nd. Why is Brandon Ingram playing that many more minutes than Zion? His rotations made no sense. He would do this weird thing where he would stagger Zion and Brandon Ingram's minutes. Zion would be on a roll. It would be 4 minutes into the quarter. He'd have 8 points be rolling, and he'd go sit the bench. Sometimes this would be the fourth quarter. Would it kill Zion to just play the whole fourth quarter? Apparently it would in Stan Van Gundy's eyes. And they just played so slow pace, man. You watched the Pelicans, you knew under Alvin Gentry, yes, they were terrible on defense, but they moved the ball and they scored a lot of points. This was like an offense from 2010. It's no longer throw the ball to Dwight Howard in the post and kick it out to the shooters. The game has evolved a lot. That's why I was really shocked that Pelicans hired Stan Van Gundy. I'm a little shocked that they fired him now, but I think it's the right move.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just that you had so much talent on that team, and just bringing in Steven Adams, a center who can grab rebounds and set amazing screens.
He's going to be better when the defense is halfway competent. A lot of people get on him, but he is a good rim defender, as you said. He just doesn't look as good right now with the whole defense being so bad. But he is a guy that's going to show his worth in the next couple of years. I agree with you.
Yeah, and he's another guy who's young. You think he's a lot older, but he's not that old when you actually look at his age. And They have so much talent on that team. You just want to see them get so much more out of it. So I think next year when they get a new coach and Zion really comes into his own, I think Zion's going to really have improved a lot compared to what he did. You can just see him getting better. He's starting to take more, mid-range jump shots and things of that nature. So when he gets a whole offseason to train and come back next season, I think he's going to show a lot more.
Hopefully. Big decision for the Pelicans trying to replace Stan Van Gundy, who is out as their head coach. We have made it to the last segment of the show. Y'all know what time it is. Time for hashtag Ask Us in the YouTube chat. Get your questions in using the hashtag Ask Us or Ask Jeremy or Ask Mario, whatever y'all want to do. All that and more coming up here on Middle Relief with Mario Jerez and Jeremy Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Summertime when the fishing's easy. At least it will be if you go get your marine electronics from Front to Back Boat Service. That's right. It is time to take your boat to a new level. You want brand new troll motors. You want cameras you can see the fish under the water in HD before you even cast. You want brand new speakers for that thing. You want Front to Back Boat Service. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com. Find them on Facebook, 225-928-9644. They do it all. That's why it's Front to Back Boat Service.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help. and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become. While we
Coming up on Thursdays Off the Bench, Jack Marucci talks about his new role at LSU, where the Pels go now that Stan Van Gundy is out, and Chef Michael Johnson answers all your Munchies questions. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Middle Relief with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in to Middle Relief. Mario Jerez alongside Jeremy Hill. Thank you to everybody for participating with the show today, including our two great guests that were kind enough to join us. Delvin Bro, a legend of the community. I know you're very familiar with him. Very, very inspirational guy. And Andrew Lopez, who broke the story of Stan Van Gundy being fired for ESPN, joined us, gave him his thoughts on a couple of candidates to replace SVG. We'll cover that story more as we go here on Middle Relief. Very, very important times for the New Orleans Pelicans. I had several more complaints about Stan Van Gundy's coaching tenure that I did not get to today. Got to a couple of them in the last segment, but we're going to talk about that and cover the Pels as we go for the rest of this week. But for right now, y'all know what time it is. Hashtag Ask Us, Ask Jeremy, or Ask Mario in the YouTube chat. First one comes from Bilbo Baggins, who asks hashtag Ask Jeremy, best fishing spot in Baton Rouge.
Ooh. I think probably I'll go LSU Lakes.
LSU Lakes? That would be the easy answer.
Yeah, that'd be the easy one, right?
Okay.
It's Baton Rouge.
Yep. Hashtag Ask the Relievers, again from Bilbo. Do you prefer the scorching heat or the wet cold that we sometimes get in the winter?
Scorching heat for sure.
Okay. Hashtag Ask Mario. This one coming from William Ivy. Thank you for participating, William Ivy. Hashtag Ask Mario. Do you celebrate flopping or ties more when you watch soccer? Probably ties. I hate the flopping. I'm somebody who does enjoy watching soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. People here about to get really offended that I called it that. But I'm cool with the ties. If when you get to like finals and stuff like that, you have to eventually break the ties, and you do extra time and penalty shootout. So learn the rules of soccer there. But the flopping is bad. The flopping is something that needs to stop. I will specifically call out Neymar for doing it way too much. That's something I don't like. LeBron James does the same thing. So if you're going to complain about that, I need to hear you complain about LeBron James too, who, by the way, is complaining about the NBA schedule now that his Lakers are eliminated. No surprise there. But to answer your question, William Ivy, I celebrate ties more when I watch soccer. You have an opinion on that?
Ties or I don't mind ties. So I actually, I'm going to go with the ties. I prefer ties because the flopping that's too much.
Hashtag Ask Us. This one from Nookie. Is Jeremy familiar with the broadcasting talent that is Jumbo Ronnie Rance? He's about to walk into the door.
Oh, yeah. Of course I am. Yeah.
Ronnie is awesome. I will say I produced Ronnie's show for a pretty long time, for like a year. And he was the first person to kind of ask me to come on and kind of give like my football takes and kind of respect my opinion on that sport in specifically. And this was a long time ago. Again, this was years ago before I started doing any of the OTB stuff. But I have a lot of affinity for Ronnie. Very much enjoyed working with him. He also helped me get some play-by-play opportunities. So very grateful for that as well. Shout out to Ronnie Rance. Stay tuned for AFR with him in about 5 minutes. Hashtag Ask Us. Is Jeremy really busy weekdays from 3 to 6? They're making a joke that you should replace Moscona.
Oh, man.
So let's stay away from that one. I'm sure you would do really good in that slot, though. That's drive time. Maybe in that time slot you could do your jazz show.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we got endless options.
Hashtag Ask the Relievers. Why doesn't Ronnie have a segment called Ronnie's? Oh, my God, Bilbo. He should totally have a segment called Ronnie's Rants. How did he not think of that?
Yeah, that's actually a good one, actually.
I'm going to relay that to him whenever I see him. That's an excellent idea that I can't believe he hasn't come up with. Nookie asks, hashtag Ask Us. Closest friend you made during your NFL career that you still stay in close contact with?
That I didn't go to I'd probably say Trey Carson. He played running back with me. He went to Texas A&M.
Okay.
Actually, I had 1,000 yards for Texas A&M, actually.
Okay. You're not cool with that? Was he on the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you cool with any of your other Bengals compadres?
Oh, yeah. But I'm probably the closest with him. I talk to him almost every day.
I'll tell you all the time that I drafted you in fantasy earlier than my friends expected me to. You did really well. Shout out to you. But Gio Bernard did the same exact thing. His rookie year coming out of North Carolina, nobody knew anything about him, but I saw him run all over LSU in a game that the Tigers still win. I knew he would be good in the NFL, and he was good on my fantasy team, as were you, Jeremy.
Great call, brother. Great
thank
call.
you for that. Thank you to everybody for participating in the show today. Come back tomorrow, 12 p.m., me and Matt Musso here on Middle Relief, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while